quick impromptu video that I wanted to throw in here before the actual video starts. I want to address two things really quickly that I'm sure will become apparent as soon as this video starts. So I'm not super excited about the angle at which this was filmed. Now I am using a helmet mount, but I'll kind of show you what happened there. Also, there were some audio issues. I've done the best I could in post-production as far as cutting those out and splicing it and making it make sense where the audio's usable, I think, for the most part. But I'll address that with you as well. So this is my setup. This is the helmet that I was wearing. And this is how the GoPro was mounted on it, but not quite. So obviously this arm adjusts. And when I had it kind of tilted more back, I had the GoPro, it was more against the helmet, but it was essentially here, which you would think, okay, that's level. The problem is I'm coming from a different helmet that does sit flat like this. This Bell model sits on your head a little more forward. So I have compensated for that by moving it just a little bit. So when the helmet's sitting on the table, it looks like the GoPro is pointed at the sky. Once you put it on your head, it makes everything level. So that was number one. And I don't think the angle's that bad, and I've had people comment that they actually kind of like it that way because it feels like you're on the bike. The thing is, you don't see as much of the road. So I found when I was editing the video, I was like trying to like lift my head up watching it so I could see a little bit more. So I wanted to address that. And then as far as the audio, this is the mic that I was using, which is a pretty decent mic. And my idea with this versus some of the other ones was I didn't want to have to hide all that cable. So essentially this runs right underneath here and it just kind of goes into place right there in front of where your mouth is. The problem is I need, which I think I've got a solution now, but I needed a solution at that time to keep this here because as I was riding and vlogging, the mic, I guess with the wind and stuff, would just fall out. Sometimes I noticed it instantly, sometimes I didn't. So I just wanted to address those two things really quickly and also let you guys know that that will be fixed for the next like moto vlog type video that we do, just so you don't have to worry about it. But I get a lot of comments about that kind of stuff, so I wanted to address that really quickly. Now here's the video you click to watch. Guys, we're getting a little closer to the off-road section that I'm going to be doing, but I thought this would be a good chance to give you some feedback on the on-road stuff that I've noticed. So the first thing being, I know Harley does sell some spacers you can put in these risers. I think it bring these bars or risers up 2 inches. I definitely think that would be for me. I don't feel like I'm leaning down on the bars like, sorry, I keep looking in the mirror. This battery's about to die. I've got another one, but I don't want to stop and change it just yet. Anyway, like I was saying, I don't feel like I'm leaning down like a sport bike, you know, like where you're completely tucked down, but I do definitely feel like I'm pitched just a little bit forward, and I think those extra 2 inches bringing my hands up would be about perfect. Foot position, I've heard people talk about, but again, I've got a dirt bike background, so I'm kind of used to this foot position just kind of being right down underneath you. That doesn't bother me. I feel like the seat is fantastic. Granted, I've probably only done about 40 miles so far on this seat, but it's really grippy. It seems comfortable, very plush. No complaints there. The windshield, I had it all the way up for about half the ride and then put it all the way down on the lowest setting. Barely noticeable to me, but again, I ride in a really nice helmet that handles the wind great, so no real issues there. I've been on road mode most of the time. I need to play with those a little bit more and kind of see what I notice. Suspension is great, super plush on this setting. That wasn't intentional, it's just we're getting into the good stuff now. That's one thing I do want to point out though, like in the curves, this thing just, it handles like a dream. I mean, I feel like I'm on a sport bike. I've had a supermoto in the past, and this thing feels almost just as nimble as that. I'm just saying a lot into sport mode, and boy, what a difference. Like, they weren't kidding when they said this thing makes 150 horsepower. I came up this same road on Lowrider S with the 122 kit, and this feels even more powerful and responsive than that. So I'm sold, guys. This is an awesome bike. I'm ready to see how it does off-road, but as far as the on-road, this thing is an absolute animal. So this road, just for some context, it's rained for the past 2 days, so the sand is really soft. And this road is really chopped out, both from the rain washing down through the road, and then also cars going up this road that maybe shouldn't be going up this road, kind of spinning their tires. So this will be a great test of what this thing can do in those conditions. And this is about a 9-mile road to get up to the top where I'm going, and then I'm going to go down a different way and hope that the gate is open. Sometimes the gate is closed, and that's always fun in a sarcastic way when you're in your truck, because then you got to turn around and go all the way back, and this road is not nearly as fun in your truck. It could be, but I don't want to beat my truck up that much. But on the bike, it won't be that bad if it ends up being closed, just more off-road ride time, which is fine with me. I was in second, and it felt kind of laggy. We're in Sport Plus mode, by the way. I guess you can see it on the GoPro. Also, my apologies if this GoPro angle is kind of pointed down, so I've got it like pushed back into the helmet as much as it will go. However, I may need to use the other arm settings and get it back more. We're definitely being a little more conservative right now. This is Tim's bike, not my own, so the last thing I want to do is let it get out from under me. Also, I kind of want to get a feel for what it's going to do, you know, how it's going to respond in certain situations. But I mean, so far, super smooth. I haven't really had to brake that much yet, so I'm not sure. We're going up now, going down. We'll get to test that a lot more. I mean, obviously the brakes are there and are responsive, but curious to see if we'll find any more bikes up here. Ooh, that's not good. Also, I'm torn between standing and sitting. So I want to stand and be a little more aggressive, but that kind of amps me up and makes me want to ride a little bit harder than maybe I should be right now. Also, there's a speed limit on this road. I won't say it in case we go over it, but point being, we don't want to be flying through here. Ooh. So in the mode that we're in now, and no traction control, it's letting that back tire break loose, you know, and that's what I want. Traction control on a road like this where it's so choppy and it's going to start losing traction is going to cut your throttle out. My truck does the same thing. So if I try to come up this road and traction control on, anytime my wheels lose traction, it cuts my throttle so I don't get myself in a worse mess. But on something like this, I want to be able to slam the brake and slide it, and I also want to be able to get into the throttle and slide that back end around, just for handling purposes. I mean, obviously it's fun as well, but that's the point, is the better handling. I gotta say, I am definitely falling in love with this bike, just based on the capabilities. You know, I love Harleys. I love, you know, the Lowrider S. I like my Street Glide, Fat Bob. I like all of the, oh, look at the waterfall. That would be a good shot. We should stop and do that. But you can't do any of this stuff on those. So the functionality of this has been awesome. Let's stop and grab a photo real quick. Fine line in trying to have fun and also be respectful of other people that are out here using the trail. I mean, there's people camping out here and stuff. I don't want to be super loud and disrespectful to them, trying to be out in nature and enjoy being away from everything. And here I am on my motorcycle. Dude, this thing is fun. I don't want to be out here causing a bunch of noise. I also don't want to get myself in any trouble. I don't know if there'll be any park rangers or anything up here. I don't think I've ever seen any up here, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. I don't want to make us as a whole look bad, the motorcycle community. Sometimes we can get a bad rap, and sometimes some of the things people do deserves a bad rap, but nonetheless, we don't need to add fuel to the fire. Ooh, got some fresh gravel, be nice and loose. So I can definitely say without a single doubt in my mind, this is absolutely the most fun I've ever had on any Harley Davidson motorcycle in my entire life. Never ridden turbocharged bikes or anything like that, but ridden some pretty awesome stuff, 150 horsepower type bikes. Done a lot of stuff on Harleys. This is by far the most fun. Alright guys, obviously this is going to be the interstate part of the video, and we're about to wrap this thing up. So I do want to thank you if you're still watching, or even if you just skipped ahead and you skipped ahead enough to make it at this point. Thank you. So I want to kind of use this time to summarize my overall thoughts on this bike. As far as riding on the interstate right now, like it's it handles pretty much like anything else. I mean, you can't really tell a difference between it and if you've ridden any other Harley. It's pretty much there. Top speed was listed at like 130 or 135 miles an hour with luggage. I didn't do that. Again, not my bike, and you know, obvious implications with that. So I stayed away from that. But I mean, as you can see, I'm at typical highway interstate cruising speeds. I pass some people, you know, kind of in and out of traffic, and this thing handles great on the interstate. It's nothing special, but it also doesn't lack in any area. So it feels completely fine. It's stable, it's comfortable at these speeds and at these RPMs. So very happy with it there. The thing I want to point out is I think this bike makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. People like myself who would love to be able to ride, you know, if you can only have one bike, you have something you can ride on-road and off-road. Is it the absolute best on-road bike ever? No. Is it really, really good? Definitely. Is it the absolute best off-road bike ever? No. But again, it's really, really good. My genuine, honest, unbiased opinion is this bike is so well-rounded and does both things so well. It is a great, great bike. It makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. All you have to do is get past the fact that it doesn't look like a conventional Harley. I mean, no adventure bike to me looks good. This one definitely looks the best out of all the ones that I've seen, and it's never going to have that Harley sound. If you can get past those two things and not worry about that, I think this would make a perfect bike for a lot of guys. Like I said, myself included in that. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments.